We are joined by the heavy hitters, and I don't want them to know that we don't care about their opinions, but gentlemen, we will be breaking away if Punxsutawney Phil comes out during this segment, just so you know. Cosmo Macero of O'Neill Associates, a man whose government is working for him. He just got a parking ticket. Peter Kagis of the Boston Phoenix, a man whose government is working for him. The mayor wants to take smoking out of public housing.
Yeah, my God, it's the nanny state run amok. What are they going to do? Have vouchers so people can, go to smoking shelters? A man's home, even if he rents it, is supposedly his castle.
You can have his pipe when you pry it from his cold, dead fingers, Cosmo.
Amen.
Before we get to all that stuff, let's head up north to New Hampshire, because Barack is back in town.
Yeah.
Barack coming to Nashua North, trying to sell all that is Obama economics these days. What kind of standing is he bringing with him?
Well, whether he's in New Hampshire or New Mexico or New London, I think the story's the same, and that is his credibility.
You worked on that one all night, but that wasn't bad.
His credibility has suffered. His agenda is in real trouble. And for a guy who just last week was talking about fiscal restraint, his budget doesn't look so great, and the federal workforce is the biggest it's ever been. So I think he's got a real credibility problem no matter where he is.
Yeah, he's borrowing another $1.6 trillion for his next spending package, Peter. We're hearing various reports of the stimulus package not working in New Hampshire, and yet he's coming to talk about punishing banks. Is this going to fly with the people up in New Hampshire?
I don't know. Punishing banks is always a good idea. And banks got us into this mess. They were the trigger. The banks have remarkably paid back most of the money that they were given in the bailout. Those that haven't paid it back, their brethren banks should pay for it. Listen, everyone is fighting yes to these wars. The biggest news is America is broke and going there. The good news for liberals is we can't afford Afghanistan. We can't afford Iraq.
We can't afford this spending plan, then, by that extension.
The good news for conservatives is we probably can't afford this health care plan. The good thing about the high employment, although some might argue they're effectively unemployed, of the record number of federal workers is at least they're working. There are no jobs in America. There aren't enough.
Is this a case of the president trying to buy swing states, Cosmo? He goes down to Florida, says, here's $8 billion for a rail project. He comes up to New Hampshire, says, here's all this money I want to reinvest in your banks. He says he's not worried about his reelection. Sure seems like he is to me.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think that, hey, it's easy politics to beat up on the big national banks. He's also sort of late to the game on that. Now it's time for banks to start lending again and getting the economy moving, and I think we need the financial services industry to be helpful in that way. But, again, his credibility has really suffered. That's his biggest problem.
Here's his other credibility issue as we move on, Peter, and something you won't hear him say much while he's in New Hampshire. 3 words: Khalid, Sheikh, and Muhammad. However, he's got a big problem on his hands. 2 Democratic senators yesterday said they will not vote to fund any civilian trial for this guy, even though Obama on Monday said, I want a civilian trial for this guy. Who's going to win this thing, and is Khalid Sheikh Mohammed going to ultimately be tried at Gitmo?
I don't know whether he'll be tried at Gitmo. I do think he will ultimately be tried by a military tribunal.
So Obama loses.
Obama will lose that. It is interesting, though, that when did New York City turn into a city of wimps? You would think that they would want the people responsible for the attack on their city to be tried in their own backyard. I find it just an amazing thing of American softness. We want to talk tough, but act soft.
I got to say, I like the idea of a civilian trial because it's really bringing these criminals, these terrorists, to justice in the way that people are accustomed.
Yeah, but Cosmo, when Gibbs says we're going to kill him after the trial, why won't you just give him a military tribunal for $0?
That was a rather unfortunate.
That was unbelievable.
Indefinitely detaining someone at Gitmo, I think it kind of feels like justice, but what it is procrastination. And I think Americans want justice. So I think the civilian trial is something we ought to figure out, can we make it work that way? And I agree with the move to take it out of New York City because it created so much stress on the system.
Cosmo, I'm getting breaking news. Punxsutawney Phil has seen his shadow. 6 more weeks of winter, which means we have a 61% chance of a very mild 6 weeks.
I guess I better buy some gloves.
Exactly. We got just a minute left, gentlemen. Quickly, the Scott Brown effect in Massachusetts being heard down in the 10th District. Jeff Perry, representative here in Beacon Hill, Republican, set to announce that he's running against Bill Dellon today. Joe Malone of Fox 25 has also expressed interest, as has Bob Hedlund, senator from Quincy and Weymouth, who is up here. 3 Republicans in one race. What's the likelihood any of these 3 can take out Bill Dellon?
What it tells you is that district went pretty heavy for Brown. That's why there's all that interest. That's why there's all that concern. And I think that if I'm Bill Dellon, I'm paying close attention to that. I'm going to be a little bit concerned about these candidates.
Every incumbent in America is in trouble today. Bill Dellon, I think, has the chops to hold on to a seat. A 3-way race would benefit him, but Delahunt is no fool. He's a smart guy. Unlike Martha Coakley, he'll hit the ground running.
I'm way over time, but Peter Cadgis, the question to you, because you know somebody who knows somebody, is it possible that Rip Torn broke into a bank with an armed gun, with a loaded gun, because he thought it was his house?
Oh, it's entirely possible. Good pal of mine that lives in Kent, Connecticut, which is around the part of Connecticut Rip Torn lives in, and he's hoisted a few many times with Rip Torn. This is completely plausible according to the stories I've heard over the years.
You got anything to compete with? I know a guy who drank with Rip Torn.
And lived to tell about it.
I can't match that.
Cosmo, Macero, Peter Cadgis, they're the heavy hitters.